Hello and welcome to another edition of Fours and Sixes. I'm Swaroop, and with me, as always, Gomesh. The Super 8 stages of the World Cup are now fixed. In Group 1, we have matches to be played only in India. We have South Africa, we have West Indies, and then we have the season's flavor, shall we say. Zimbabwe have been terrific throughout the tournament. And then in Group B, we have the co-host Sri Lanka, we have England, we have Pakistan, and we have New Zealand, the team who always turns up at these events. So before we talk about specific games, just what have you made of the eight teams who qualified for the stage?
I think by and large it's been predictable. The first week has a little bit of teams sort of push the limits in terms of Nepal coming close to beating England and USA coming close. Netherlands really could have beaten Pakistan if they had hold on to that catch. So it's by and far been predictable. One probably surprises the last time semi-finalist Afghanistan, who did not make it. But I guess it's also shows how vastly differential the pitches have been. Like for example, Mumbai has had everything for everybody, and same goes for a little bit with Delhi as well. Whereas Ahmedabad and Chennai have stayed true in terms of flattest pitches. Chasing has survived always. Colombo, three different pitches. It's been very different. So rather interesting World Cup in regards to that, but also clearly shows why the ICC should do a lot more to make sure the associate nations play a lot more with the full member nations.
Moving on, just generally, I know there has been some debate in the media about the format as such. There have been 4 teams who have topped their groups in one group, and then 4 teams who finished in the other group. I don't think that's fair. I don't think that's sporting integrity.
Yeah, but it is. I guess there's a lot of.
I don't know why the ICC continues to do this.
But I guess I completely agree with you. There is no doubt about it. But it is also. I don't think there is a lot of things that goes in line with everything people argue about with the preceding thing. If you dig into that, the whole hybrid model itself sort of comes into question, like the nightmare of logistics for fans, for great fans, even the people who work behind this.
BCCI, ICC, famously two bodies who care for fans.
And even the people who put together the tournament behind the scenes, like the broadcast crew, television, the people who are behind the scenes in the field, it's been a nightmare for them as well. But this is what has been sent to all the teams. This is what has been agreed on. So it is what it is at some level, and it's going to be the case moving forward as well. But yeah, it sort of dulls out the way the last 3 days of league games went. Like there was no context to us to, like for example, Zimbabwe topped the group and still doesn't have any reward for it. It's like predetermined that Australia would top the group and come out and play in India. So, but yeah, I mean, Zimbabwe would have loved to continue to play in Sri Lanka, I guess, in terms of the conditions that were offered here, and I don't know how much of it will be similar in India. But they still have the bowling to do that, but their batters will be seriously tested in India.
And just moving on to some specific matches, obviously, from an Indian specific viewpoint, I think there will be a real dogfight beginning in that opener against South Africa and Ahmedabad. It's two contrasting approaches, really. It is going to be a rematch of the 2024 final. India obviously won that, but since that final, the BCCI have decided to put a roadmap in place planning for this because it was going to be hosted in India. And since that final, South Africa have taken a very laissez-faire approach to T20s. They've seldom had their full team. I mean, forget their full team. I think a scratch team played in Namibia. Namibia beat them a day before a test series began in some other part of the world. So it's very two contrasting approaches. I am forever of the belief that planning is very overrated in international T20s. Why do you see it?
Yeah, I think the best thing that could have happened for South Africa is the scheduling of this World Cup when it meant that they had their top internationals all in South Africa playing against each other in SC20. We often argue how Indian players do not spend enough time before a global event during the IPL, but whereas this is sort of worked in favor for them in terms of players finding form, in terms of like how bad Brevis was at the start of the SC20 compared to where he finished in that way. And lot of injuries have come in as blessing in disguises in terms of Stubbs coming into the picture. Miller,
Tony DeZorzi was supposed to be
yes,
their middle order
exactly,
left-hander, and now he's
and
nowhere in the picture.
and even someone like Miller who had the time to recover and make it to the World Cup. They are India are the team to beat clearly because of the bowling attack they have. But you look at the
But if South
all-rounded
Africa,
picture.
if South Africa were asked which pitch would they prefer playing India in India right now, it would have been Ahmedabad.
True, and we have already seen Aiden Markram was seldom bowled in this tournament. Started rolling his arm earlier today in the training in Ahmedabad. At least that's what we are seeing in the reports. So it's going to be a really good match. I just hope the crowd fills the stadium even during the India Netherlands match. We know it's a one-sided fixture, but the crowd was a little over 65,000, which is on paper half the capacity of the ground. So. I hope the crowd turns up in for that match. It's going to be a cracker of a contest. Lingidi is going to take his pace off really, really well. Jansen is going to do the same, and Abhishek will be tested. He's here to get up the mark. Like at the start of the World Cup, if either of us would have
You
said
can
that,
already see that if South Africa, irrespective of whether they bowl first or bat first, you can see Aiden Markram bowling to Abhishek Sharma.
yeah, and same goes for like Rabada Ringiri. There are two plans. We can say it because Indian team is never going to say it. We can say it because the two things the teams are doing is bring on an off spinner early onto Abhishek, try and get him out of the boundary. Or the other thing, both New Zealand did during the bilateral as well, is to chase a wide delivery and get him caught at deep cover. USA did that as well in the Mumbai. So, and I'm sure Indian team is aware of that, and I'm sure they're saying he just needs one game, but they have a bigger problem in Tilak and Surya spin the whole thing. So it's not going to be easy because they face South Africa in Ahmedabad. They come to Chennai. They face Zimbabwe again. It's going to be a night game. So how much of spin will come into play, we'll have to wait and see. But pitches I've seen wear and tear. Nami took 4 for only 2 days ago as well. So it's going to be a challenge. And again, West Indies in Kolkata. Varun is going to be the most important player in this team. And yeah.
I know that we mock. I mean, mock may be too strong a word, but we accuse, shall we say, the BCCI and the ICC of making it easier for the Indian team to win these sort of events. But it strikes me strange that India are obviously the hosts, and there will obviously be a sort of inbuilt advantage if you're the host nation, but they're playing South Africa in Ahmedabad. South Africa have played a few matches in Ahmedabad. They're playing West Indies in Calcutta. West Indies have already played a few matches there in the lead up to those matches. And West Indies, again, I think if they had wanted to play India in one surface, it was Eden Gardens.
It's either going to be between Eden Gardens and Wankhede, and they played in both those pitches. So, yeah, it's true in terms of that. And we also know that, a lot of these players who are going up against India have a truckload of IPL experience as well. But international cricket is obviously different. World Cups are obviously different. We've seen how little Bumrah has been bowled. He's bowled 9 overs across 4 matches, and he's had 6 wickets to show. And he's going in an economy of 6 because teams know what he can do, and like they're playing cautious against him. And Varun has just been like the bowler in terms of this World Cup. Obviously, there are other players, but the rather unknown factor of not having played enough is something that's cost teams dearly. And the team that takes him down, the team that puts him, out of attack is the team that's going to beat India.
If at all that were to happen.
Yeah.
Obviously, you have the other side in this group, Zimbabwe. It's a lovely story. It's a unique collection of individuals up top. Brian Bennett, I don't think he's been dismissed yet. You have the pace, the height of Blessing, Mustabani, Sikandar Raza, the evergreen Sikandar Raza, then the collection of their spinners. What have you made of them?
I think a lot of it has to do with Sikandar Raza, the captain and the person. We spoke to him briefly during the SA20 tournament. He had just lost his brother in late December, and in one of the first Zimbabwe players to play in SA20, and how different and some of the players were still playing in ILT20 if I'm not wrong. So he was hoping that all this wealth of experience from different T20 leagues will come into picture as they rally around and up the stage, and they have done that really well. Now the challenge for them is that there has been a lot of day games for them so far, but that's not going to be the case from here on. They're going to be play under the lights. Dew will come into the factor, toss will come into the factor, and how the spinners are going to pull it off. That's going to be key. And Sikandar Raza's bowling will be key as well. Like we have seen him beat Chennai Super Kings for Punjab Kings at this very same venue in Chepauk. If they can turn it up, if the only way they're gonna any team is gonna beat India is either bowl them out ridiculously and chase it down, or no total is out of reach for this Indian team at this point. But that's the only way we can look at it. But it's not going to be easy because of due. But like they're in a group where they can potentially beat West Indies. They can potentially challenge South Africa. So if they make it to the semifinals, which they have their eyes on, they have made it very clear in terms of they're not here to compete. So that'll be really something. And forget the sponsors, the LinkedIn post that's been coming in on sponsors to get on board. Just the sheer fact that they have come this far and the match fee that they're going to take back is going to do a lot of good, and I hope it does as well.
And the Zimbabwe story, of course, began 2 years ago. For this World Cup, they had to play a qualifying event which began in 2024. It's just a fantastic story, stories that you don't see a lot of in elite cricket. So hats off to Zimbabwe. That's all we have time for this edition of Fours and Sixes. Thanks for watching. Stay safe.
What is that strength that brings women together and helps them move forward? Self-help groups. Central Bank of India, under DAY NRLM, provides financial support to self-help groups and through Cent Nari Shakti to their members. Central to you since 1911.